All right, so in this video, we're going to be having a look at part 12 of the financial math series, and that is outstanding balance. So let's go ahead and read the instructions. Busiso took a loan of 156,000 rands. He makes monthly payments of 3,600 rands on the loan, and the interest rate is calculated at 16% per annum compounded monthly. Now, what is the outstanding balance on the loan after a payment has been made at the end of 2 years? All right, so now here, in order for us to calculate that, we must first understand the formula that we're going to be using. So the formula for the outstanding balance, it is basically the compound interest. So I'm going to use A for that minus future value. All right. Now this looks like this. So OB, it actually means that it is P into 1 plus I to the power of M minus X into 1 plus I to the power of N minus 1. Now, unfortunately, in this formula, you won't get it on your formula sheet. This is what you need. You must actually memorize. Okay. So now here, the value for P here, it is the loan amount, right? And then the value for M and N, they differ here. Now, remember, this is an interest. This is the compound interest, right? So now this is the number of times, right, the interest has been charged, right? Has been charged, right? And then if you remember, when we talk about future value, we say that this, it tells us the number of deposits you've made. So this is still the same. So it is the number of deposits made. Now this, in some instances, or you see later that this will be different, but in this case here, right, we see that there was no deviation in the contract. The loan was taken out, and then the money, 3,600 rand, it was basically made at the end of each month, right? So everything is still fine. So yeah, I just wanted you to understand what this means and what that means. And then from here, knowing this, now we can then now go into our question and calculate our outstanding balance, right? So to calculate our outstanding balance, we'll first need to find the information that we have here. So in this case here, we can see that the loan that we have, it is 156,000 rands. So I'm going to write it like that. And then from here, we see that we're making monthly payments. So which means X, it is going to be 3,600 rands. And then from there, the interest, it is 16%. Divide this by 12 because this is compounded monthly, all right? And then now we want to understand our outstanding balance after the end of 2 years, right? Okay, so now to do that, now our outstanding balance will then be, we're going to substitute the value here, 156,000 rand into 1 plus, let me just open more space here. So we're saying outstanding balance, it is 156,000 rand into 1 plus 16% compounded monthly. And then now to put in the interest charge, right? This is after 2 years. So we know that this is every 2 years, but then the compound, this has been happening every month. So I'm going to multiply this by 12, right, to get the actual value there, right? And then now I'm going to subtract this with my future value. So X there is 3,600 rand, and then 1 plus 16% over 12. Now notice here that the number of deposits by now, it's been like actually the same amount as the number of interest that it's been charged. So which means it is the same as 2 times 12. There is no deviation at all. All right. So by deviation, it means maybe you missed a payment, or you said you're going to pay, and then you decided, no, I'm not going to start paying now, I'm going to start paying later. All of those things, those are called deviation, and we're going to discuss that later. So divide this by 16% over 12. Now let's go ahead and check into our calculator. Now checking our calculator, we're basically going to press everything right in there. So 1 plus 16% over 12. So I can calculate that value there. It is actually 24. So let's just writing it there so that I can explain how we do it. So 1 plus 16% over 12 to the power of 24 minus 1 over 16% over 12, and that is our value. So now the outstanding balance here, it is 113 thousand. So 113, and then let's see, 339 rand, right, 339 rand, comma 5 cent, and that is how we calculate our outstanding balance. Now again, please be sure that you keep this part, because, or you understand what this part means, because later in our videos when we have a deviation, this is where people they actually tend to make mistakes, and this is where I'm gonna keep emphasizing so that you understand how it works. So that is all for this video, and on the next part we're gonna be discussing more of the things that we're gonna be talking about in financial maths, and I want to see you to that one.